It's Congressman Pete Sessions. Congressman, so the Senate DHS funding bills have to go to the president's desk. You just heard that live report from the White House. We heard from Speaker Johnson in the last hour. He basically said that the Democrats have failed in their efforts in everything that they did, and they caused a lot of pain for a lot of government workers and those in Washington. Your reaction?
Well, my reaction is that we have found a way, the Speaker found a way, the Senate found a way, the President found a way to get this funding mechanism done. I don't know that every member's happy with how they did it, but it is done, and that was a goal of the GOP. So we've now achieved that. The President will sign it. We will have people who will be paid. We can take that sweat factor off of us because we recognize we did not feel good about that, but it was a political, dicey circumstance that we were in, so it's done. We need to move forward and will.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're certainly going to be watching the next steps for this and when it gets to President Trump to sign. Congressman, let's move to the issue with Iran. What are your thoughts on these latest efforts from Treasury to bring Iran's economy to a standstill? I mean, one of the biggest voices, the loudest voices, has been Secretary Bessent, in particular, going after banks, going after crypto assets. Does this weaken the Iranians enough to bring them to the table?
Yeah, I think what the president's doing is putting a full court press, which I'm very pleased with, not only on the Iranians, but also to back up the substance that is necessary that America and Americans can be prepared for its future. I think that when he had a meeting, as he did with oil company executives, to give them an understanding about the need of American foreign policy to make sure that we not only win this prize of making sure that the Iranians do not move forward with to have a nuclear device and a bomb. It gave us also a strong indication this is probably not going to last. It will probably last a little bit longer, and he gave them the opportunity to know the resolve that we have here in the United States to win the peace. Winning the peace means very clearly to at least Republicans that we need to make sure that the outcome means that the world will be safer, America, our allies will be safer, and that would not happen if the Iranians were to have the bomb. They would continue to not only terrorize our allies and Americans, they would cause chaos in the world, and that chaos is far bigger, and we've seen what it can do to commercial activities. So, support the president, very proud of him. Of course, the president's having to turn on all channels, and Secretary Bessent, great job.
Yeah, no, we're looking at a stock market right now that's on fire. S&P hitting new intraday highs. NASDAQ is up there as well, sir. And you know, all of this as we're watching this new report come in that says that the United States is seeking to deploy hypersonic missiles for the first time against Iran. Even though that is a concern for markets, and we've seen that before, they're kind of moving past that news. What more can you tell us right now?
Well, what I can tell you is that the president has gotten to the point, and I believe his not only his tendencies are to prepare the United States for this, but to also prepare ourselves for what we need to have in our back pocket, and that is we're going for the win. As I've stated before, this is about winning peace. The world has to be stronger and better. There is a price to pay for that. And as someone suggested, well, we're getting close to the elections. Yes, that's true. But for us not to follow through with national security issues and to win that better peace, I think would be a mistake. I'm very proud of the president, and the United States will hang with us because we don't want a circumstance where the Iranians would win this prize of nuclear weapons.
Well, certainly no one wants that. And you know, the other thing here has been this issue with NATO, because there's really some cracks that are starting to show in the alliance. The president has been very frustrated with NATO. He says the U.S. may now cut the number of American troops in Germany. He's not happy with I'm going to say, pretty insulting comment from Chancellor Merz. In Ramstein Air Base, that's got like about 16,000 military personnel just over it. You've got civilians, contractors. It's a key hub for Middle East operations. Do you see this shift happening?
Well, I certainly know that the president has indicated his displeasure with the activity of people gathering together, sticking together with the United States on this. But in fairness, we need to also recognize that these are difficult circumstances. So it is my hope that the greater picture will be seen, that our friends in NATO and around the world, and we heard from one, and that is the King of England, who encouraged us to stay on task. He encouraged America to remember how important we are to freedom around the globe, and that there are adversaries also, but that we need to probably turn down the noise, probably at least what they say to us, but we need to produce the victory for the free world. And this is never been clearer than it is today. The Iranians will not yield. It will be a fight to the death of not only them, but a fight to the death that we're going to have to decide what we do with Iran. The president's been very careful not to destroy Iran, but to make sure that the Iranians have a country that's left. This leaves us in a difficult circumstance. I'm with the president. We've got to win.
Yeah, and certainly those oil fields in Iran and the overflowing. I mean, them using these tanks and these old, storage facilities. That's got to add even more pressure to them. And you would know that coming from the oil-rich state, of course, of Texas.
That's true, but that's true. But I was talking about literally the cities where the IRG is holding up, where they have their major facilities, where they command and control. We're going to have to make some good decisions, and we're going to have to do it. And I think that's what the president's trying to do, to say to oil executives, please look long term. Let's see what we need to do. Let's keep the stability for the confidence that we have here in the United States. But we are in the long run for us to make sure that we have a stable world and markets when this is done.
Congressman Sessions, it's always a pleasure to speak with you. Thank you for being with me today. I certainly appreciate it, sir. All right. We have got a lot.